Hey everyone, SW Nation here, and welcome back to a brand new DC ranking here on the channel. Today I'd like to stop and take the time to rank all 11 Batman theatrically released films, ranked from the worst to the best. Please note that everything that I will say in this video is just my very own opinion. My list is certainly not the right list, it's just my list, and you are free to comment down below your ranking of all 11 theatrically released Batman films, ranked from the worst to the best, just like me, or you could just do your favorite. Yes, I know that there are actually 12 theatrically released Batman movies, but I did not include 1966 because I did not have the time to watch 1966. Please note that this is day 3 of our DC week. Tomorrow we're going to be doing Superman movies, Thursday we're going to be doing the Snyder Cut review, and on Friday we're going to be doing the Snyder Cut ranking. Please don't forget to check out that Twitter that's going to pop up on your screen right now. Like, comment, and subscribe, guys, and without further ado, let's just get right into our ranking. Kicking off my list at number 11 has got to go to Batman and Robin. Now, on paper, George Clooney is a good pick for Bruce Wayne, but then he puts on the Batman cowl, and he's not the best in that. It feels like there's just too much stupidity going on with Poison Ivy and Bane and Mr. Freeze with the ice puns, and from the writing all the way to the acting, the jokes, and the logic is just bad to me. This is a big misfire for Batman that overstays its welcome because of how long the runtime is. I'm not bashing Joel Schumacher, rest in peace, but this is not a good film. Kicking off my top 10 list has got to go to Batman Forever. Now, this movie is not as bad as Batman and Robin. I think this is the second Batman movie that I've ever seen, and this is the 5th comic book movie that I've ever seen. So, I mean, it has a soft spot in my heart, but it's not good either. I mean, with Jim Carrey and Tommy Lee Jones doing too much overacting for both of them, it comes off as a little bit too loud and too overhyper. It has an identity crisis with it trying to be part a dark, deep storytelling of the mind of Bruce Wayne and the character of Batman. That's the parts that I kind of like. But then it also wants to be this overhyped, injected Red Bull movie inside of this franchise that when we had 2 movies before, they weren't this bright and cheesy. At times it feels boring, especially with Val Kilmer as Bruce Wayne. Chris O'Donnell is actually really good as Robin to me, but then again, he was a product of his time, just like this film. Coming in at number 9 for me has got to go to Justice League. Again, this is a big misfire. The studio kind of dipped their hands a little bit too much inside of it. Now, I'm not saying that you can't have studio interference, because look at Marvel. They always have studio interference. But it feels like the producers, the heads at Warner Brothers, they just kind of dropped the ball with this. Now, I personally enjoy the Joss Whedon cut of Justice League. I do think that it's the worst DCEU film, but I don't necessarily think that it's a terrible movie. But this movie does have bland jokes, especially with the Snyder cut coming. It feels gross and absolutely disrespectful on how us fans got robbed and also how this film turned out. Coming in at number 8 for me has got to go to Batman Returns. Now, from this film all the way up, I do like all of these films and I will rewatch them at any time. Batman Returns gets really dark for me. Like, I love the tone. It kind of feels like a nice continuation of the 89 film, but at times it kind of feels a little bit too overstuffed. It goes a little bit too dark with Penguin trying to kill the firstborn sons of everybody inside of the city. And it does have a little bit of some overacting. Selena Kyle is kind of like a cliche now, but I still thought that she was actually pretty great along with the Penguin. I just wish that it really didn't get that gross at times. Coming in at number 7 for me has got to go to Dark Knight Rises. Now, I know a lot of people are not really going to like this, but yeah, I think Dark Knight Rises is not better than the movies above this. And keep in mind, I love the Dark Knight trilogy. You guys can check out that ranking up above. But to me, this film just feels very long. But a little bit of that is welcome because of how big scale and epic this film is. Bane was pretty great. I love the addition of Bane. Also tying everything back to the League of Assassins, just like Batman Begins. The film feels like a conclusion to this entire trilogy. Like I said, big scale and epic. But a lot is set up inside of this film, with it also trying to conclude a lot of things about the trilogy. And with a bad villain like Talia al Ghul in the last half of the film, it feels overstuffed and at times kinda boring. Coming in at number 6 for me has got to go to Batman 1989. I love the gothic setting here. It feels very dark and brooding and never really get that gross or overly edgy like Batman Returns. Though there's not a lot of Batman inside of this, we more so focus on Bruce Wayne and Vicky Vale, and Vicky Vale does get kidnapped a little bit too many times. She also gets in a lot of trouble too many times, but I can forgive all of that because the Joker steals the show inside of this film, and I really do not have a problem with that. The whole style of Gotham is very interesting to me and intriguing, how just dark and artistic the setting itself is. And that's what's my draw to this film, because what Tim Burton did, I thought he was able to find the right tone between dark and brooding Batman while also diving into the comic book roots. Real quick, before I get into my top 5 list, I'd like to take the time to say that if you are a big fan of DC, which you probably are, that's where you're watching this video, click that playlist up above for everything DC related that I have on my channel. Also, if you are a big fan of Superman and Lois, Flash, Batwoman, Black Lightning, please don't forget to check out that Twitter. That link is down in the description below. So without further ado, let's get into my top 5. Kicking off my top 5 list has got to go to Batman Mask of the Phantasm. Now, this is the movie of the animated series that premiered inside of theaters in 1993. And as someone who just now is getting into the Batman, the animated series, I was looking forward to watching this movie for the first time. And I want everybody to know, this film may be animated, but like the show, it touches on mature themes and has adult writing that gets to the core of Batman. With stylish animation, great voice acting, this deserves a little bit more recognition than it actually has. Coming in at number 4 for me has got to go to Batman vs. Superman Dawn of Justice. The dialogue between Alfred and Bruce is probably some of the best stuff inside of this film and the best stuff that we've seen from any Batman movie. Ben Affleck carries this film. Superman is a little bit too low-key inside of it, but that's why this is a Batman ranking and not a Superman ranking. The whole portrayal of this grizzled old Batman that has given up on humanity works for me. I love the fact that he kills. It makes him awesome. All the Batman action that you ever wanted is inside of this film. But there are a little bit too many plot holes dealing with the Superman, and then trying to bring in Lex Luthor and Doomsday, and trying to push many storylines into one movie that feels big, it feels grand, but at the same time it feels a little bit too overstuffed. And they tried to set up the Justice League that I don't think worked out the best. Kicking off my top 3 list has got to go to the Lego Batman movie. Now, I am a big fan of Lego, I'm a big fan of Batman, I'm a big fan of DC, and I'm a big fan of these Lego movies. This is the best Lego movie to me. You guys can check out that ranking up above, but I think I should do an updated ranking of these Lego movies. This is the best animated of the 4 because of its larger budget. The movie is hilarious. It touches on something different as well as interesting with the character of Batman, with him not being able to open up and let people in. So I think all of that is very interesting, and though Batman jokes a lot, that's one of my main issues with some of the stuff with the direct-to-DVD Lego movies. Though he jokes a lot, there is still a sense of seriousness with the story and the writing, and all of it is just clever and done in an excellent way that makes this one of the best Batman movies to me. My runner-up at number 2 has got to go to Batman Begins. Now, this is where we start getting into the great, awesome stuff, like Lego Batman movie. I love that movie. It's great, but this is where we start getting into the real deal, and I love the way Batman's origin is portrayed here. I love Batman Begins. This is the most rewatched Batman movie to me because I just love it. The first half of the story is the best parts to me. The first half of this film, him being with the League of Assassins and Ra's al Ghul, all of that is great to me. It feels like the first half of Captain America: The First Avenger. The film's story is about becoming. It's fascinating to see Bruce Wayne grow from an angered boy with vengeance to a man with morals, a Batman. And I think all of that was excellently executed by Christopher Nolan. But coming in at my number 1 has got to go to The Dark Knight. Everybody knows that The Dark Knight is the best Batman movie out there. I mean, the thing that Chris Nolan decided to do with this film and not turn it into another superhero sequel, but instead he crafted a crime thriller with the character of Batman and its mythos. I love Two-Face inside of this film and Commissioner Gordon. I think they're some of the best parts about this film because there's not really a lot of Batman inside of it. We're more so focusing on the city and the people and the villains, and I think that's what makes it great here because it's a little solidifies as it not being a comic book movie, but as a crime thriller. Joker, like I said, I love him. He lives up to the saying, Agent of Chaos. This film has a great balance of the gritty, dark tone of Batman Begins, but also incorporating a little bit of that Batman humor inside of it. Not too much over-the-top humor, but just enough to get a little chuckle or a little smile out of you. The Dark Knight knocked it out of the park with its deep storytelling of social morality among the citizens of Gotham City and its chaos. This is why The Dark Knight has to come in at number 1. Alright guys, that was it for the ranking. Please note that everything that I did say in this video was just my very own opinion. My list was certainly not the right list, it was just my list, and you are free to comment down below your ranking of all 11 Batman theatrically released films, ranked from the worst to the best, just like me, or you could just do your favorite. You can also include the Batman 1966 film if you have seen it. Like, comment, and subscribe, guys. Please don't forget to check out that Twitter that's going to pop up on your screen right now. This is day 3 of our DC week. Tomorrow we're doing Superman movies, Thursday we're doing the Snyder Cut review, and on Friday we're doing the Snyderverse ranking. Like, comment, and subscribe, guys, and I will see you all next time. Peace.